sort of last set of weeks. I think they went 0-2 last week.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the strongest performances. I don't think there was anything inherently wrong with things like draft or even fundamentals to a point. But going 0-2 has kind of meant now that they've dropped from looking like they could make a charge all the way up to sort of like that second place, third place to, hey, if we lose this game, we're basically sat closer to 6th than we've been for a little while. And as for Rate, sort of an opposite story. They've been looking a lot stronger recently, and I think a lot of that has to also be said. You know, substitution came in, Nomi Person filling in for Low Fire, and it's Pete, the old Rate bottom lane, and they seem to fit in really well. And I think also facilitating this the playstyle of Arcane Teddy consistently on carries and consistently on red side. And what you'll notice, Nomi's going to draw a lot of swings because it's a bit of a pick for him, and swing bot's not something you typically play into.
Not anymore, no.
So you'll see it very consistently banned away, and it's the same thing, of course, for Rip Driven on the opposite side. But what we do get, because we have so many sort of picks that be banned away because of pockets, you get quite a bit of a, as Global, let's say, an overloaded draft. Jinx, Gwen, TF, kind of the only S tier picks that have been knocked away, and that's a Kai'Sa first pick, which means we could be seeing Shaolin on
the AP Kai'Sa mid.
Kai'Sa mid, yeah.
Well, we'll see what Rate you're going to look to pick up. Obviously, this Kai'Sa is still technically flexible. There's a lot of AD carries left open. The Aphelios is obviously a big one, which we saw quite a lot yesterday in Division 1. You still got, we did see an Ezreal, not to great success, but we did see an Ezreal. There are still a few champions here, but we can see what Rate looks to pick up. Probably expect to see some kind of mid-jungle mix, or maybe support jungle if they want to go for that. Going to lock in the Xin Zhao here. Kind of expected that. It's a very aggressive, pretty strong, one of the kind of meta top tier junglers right now in the mix. Curious to see what they're going to pick up, whether or not they go for a support to pair up with this, or maybe just a mid laner. Actually looking towards the AD carry role potentially, because they're not entirely sold on where that Kai'Sa is going, so don't want to pick themselves into a bad position. Looks like they're just going to lock in this Jhin.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. Obviously, you have the Aphelios there, if you wanted to go for that option. More cases than not, this is obviously still a flex for Domino the Kai'Sa, but given, recent trends, we're expecting this to be mid lane, so Rate just say, okay, pick up the S tier jungler, and of course the AD carry. This does mean if Domino on the opposite side, if Chris wants to pick up the Aphelios, he can. Jhin definitely been one of his better performing champions as well, so Rate, pretty nice rotation for that takeaway, as we're actually just going to get a Rek'Sai to try and match some of the early game aggression here, which Rek'Sai is not something you see too frequently. We actually see a fair amount from Viking in Division 1 from Dusty, but aside from that, globally, it just feels like the champion's pretty much absent. But we know what she can do. Of course, very, very high amounts of gank paths that she can take, just versatility of the Burrow and Umber, and Domino gonna go for a very early rotation throwdown on the Fiora, which is definitely bold. What you'll typically see against Arcane Teddy, you'll see things like Camille, things like Fiora banned away in the second phase against Teddy, just because he's so proficient on these champions.
Yeah.
Instead, going for the Fiora this early, Rip is just saying, I want to 1v1 you, lock your top laner now, I don't care about the rest.
That is a very ballsy pick there from Ripped into the top lane to get himself the blind Fiora, but we'll see what the next pickup is going to be as we move into the ban phase. Gonna see what they're gonna take away. I'm just trying to run my head through things because they've obviously got this Vex locked in as well.
Yeah.
A bit of an interesting blind pick as well. Curious to see what they're looking to go into with that.
Yeah, so I mean, you could do something like pretty much just take away 2 more AD carries if you're confident that the Kai'Sa's going into the mid lane. But instead, I'm quite sold. Maybe they're just not entirely thinking that they want it to be in the bottom side. So they're gonna take away the Victor. Of course, Xiaolin. A couple of Victor games, not too terrible at it. But also just in general into the Vex. It can be a little bit irritating to play so much wave clear when you've got wave clear yourself. Kind of just turns into a bit of a farm lane when, as Vex, you want to be able to ensure that when you're roaming, you're not giving over too many resources in terms of, hey, I'm going to get priority, but Victor's then going to just farm 3 waves of place in mid lane.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the best thing to give over. As Rakan will be removed away, which is obviously a very great facilitating pick for the Xin Zhao in terms of finding a little more engaging pull up on the Vex. The Syndra will be removed away, which I think is a very, very smart ban, just into the likes of the Xin Zhao and the Vex. Relatively short-ranged, air quotes, so being able to have that one removed away, since now I'd expect another engage support to be something like the Leona or of course the Nautilus.
Alright, well, it's going to be the Ornn actually taken away.
Okay.
Bit of an interesting one because they've got the Fiora. I feel like Fiora is probably going to be okay in that lane, but
Yeah.
decided they don't. Even though they do have the Fiora, I guess it's like Fiora does not teamfight anywhere nearly as effective as the Ornn. So just want to deny that as a potential option. So we'll see what they're going to look to pick up now. Kind of expecting the support to come in here, keep some stuff open for themselves, but they're honestly catching me out on this draft constantly. They are literally last pick of the support. Going to pick up the Tryndamere here. And now we're seeing what the plan is for Domino, where this Kai'Sa's going, who they're going to be pairing up in the bot lane, whether this is the Kai'Sa, could just be like Nautilus Kai'Sa bot lane, a very standard bot, or they could go for the AP Kai'Sa and pick up a different AD carry for themselves altogether. Do worry about the front line right now for Domino, though, because I do think they're a little lacking in that department. They're going to go for the Zeri, so it is AP Kai'Sa. I would like to see something like a Leona, a Nautilus get picked up here. A Fresh is open as well. I know it's not tanky, but at least it gives them peeling options.
Yeah, I think even you could go for something maybe sort of Enchanterish if you're feeling super duper confident here.
Yeah.
Simply because Fiora will, and it's going to seem strange because in this meta at the moment it feels like Tryndamere outscales everything. To my knowledge, Fiora kind of doo-doos on this lane quite hard. So I would expect Fiora at least, you know, nameplates off to have a very good time in this lane.
Yeah.
A very, very skilled mechanical player on things like that. That's why we've seen the river move away, things like Camille. Fiora very confident, and it's why he's thrown down the gauntlet to Arcane Teddy. And Teddy will, and I expect should be very confident in this matchup, as of course do see that Alistar come in, and we will now wait for person's option will be. Have a couple of options if you want to go defensive. You can, but I think you probably want a little more engage with the Zings out, a little more follow up with that Vex combo as well, and they will go for that.
All right, that's going to be the final lock-in here. So I want to talk a little bit about the comps and what we're expecting from them. What are you liking, Domino? What do you think? What do you think is kind of working for these teams? I feel like this is a 4v4 game because both those top laners probably going to pick a Hull Breaker up and just ignore their teams all game.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure with Fiora. I think Fiora can, but
yeah,
at least from my most recent experience, definitely a little more reliant on sort of mythics plus that second line, which can be a whole range of things. Whether it's the Ravenous Hydra, whether it's you even see sort of like iterations of crit in the build sometimes. It
yeah,
really depends on what the Fiora player believes is best for the situation. Whereas obviously typically Tryndamere, Gale Force, then maybe a Hull Breaker. But what I've seen more the deviation recently is Gale Force, Navori's quick lanes,
yeah,
and then something like Doms or the Infinity Edge they can fit in. It just sort of depends. It's a very luxurious build. It's very expensive, but of course it means that Tryndamere pretty much outscales everything. But of course that is what the Fiora is there for. In the lane, from experience of both sides, playing the Tryndamere side and the Fiora side, yeah, Tryndamere on paper doesn't have the most funding.
Yeah. I think the laning phase versus Fiora is typically pretty awful anyway. I can't think of many champions that are kind of okay in that lane.
No, there's actually quite a few, but Fiora has a really nice time into a lot of the tanks as part of obviously the Vital passive, but also tanks typically have very predictable CC.
Yeah, I guess you're right there, yeah.
In terms of other skirmishers or bruisers, again, same thing. Like things like the sort of skill matchups, like maybe Irelia Fiora, you've got very predictable to parry CCs there. Riven 2, Tryndamere, whilst he doesn't have any hard CC, the issue is his play pattern is very simple, it's very linear. So even if you don't necessarily get a stun out of your parry, because you quite literally can't, the parry also slows the attack speed. So it means the trading from the Tryndamere side is
just weaker.
It's just a lot weaker.
Reliant early on those crits. Yeah. Those passive crits, that's what you want.
If you're attacking with 50% less attack speed or whatever the ridiculous number is that parry does to you, yeah, you don't really get to attack that much, unfortunately. So I will say it's very, very brave of Ripped, especially because Arcane Teddy is hailed by other top laners as the strongest top laner individually.
Yeah.
But it's Ripped at the end.
It is, yeah. I mean, let's look towards the rest of the lanes, though, because obviously we have just focused pretty heavily on this Tryndamere Fiora matchup. Elsewhere, where the teams are going to be playing together, what are we liking? What do we think is going to be working?
So I think definitely for the red side, a lot of I heard from our producers, oh no, we got the bug. And I'm gonna point it out straight away. It's the HUD bug, unfortunately, where the red side always seems to kind of be off the side of the screen. Yeah, I don't know why.
I saw this yesterday, but it fixed itself halfway through the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I think like different computers get it. The names are too long. Right. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's a name length thing for some reason. I'm sure they will fix it sooner rather than later because this one is definitely a very jarring one for production. But yeah, talking about the compositions sort of more sort of jungle down, definitely obviously rate. I think their composition kind of plays itself, right? You've got Xin Zhao, you've got the Nautilus for engage, you've got follow up from the Vex. It's a very, very simple dive composition where Nomi gets to sit back, open up the curtain call, everything plays itself. Arcane Teddy is effectively a one-man army on the side lane. He goes to sides, the rest of the team does their thing on different objectives that they prioritize they want to take. And as for priority, actually, I think across the board, they should be holding it, with the exception of the mid lane. Kai'Sa is actually a very, very irritating champion to gain priority against. I think what you'll see is because of the Acafian Rain, things like just having high-ish AD, plasma trading, Vex shouldn't really be able to stand up to that in the early stages, so expect for maybe the first 3, maybe even 4 waves onwards, potentially, that Kai'Sa will hold priority there. As I think 2v2, mid-jungle, should probably go Rate's way, but it could go either just because of how strong this Kai'Sa can be in the 1v1.
Well, for now, seeing a nice little trade there towards the bot side, at least a little bit of one, but getting turned around somewhat, both supporters getting a little bit of chunk thrown out onto them. But
Typical.
yeah, pretty typical. I am interested by this mid lane because obviously there's been a lot of hype around this Kai'Sa mid, this AP Kai'Sa mid. Vex typically a champion that early, unless she has a really good matchup, tends to spend a lot of the time getting pretty out pushed. So how do you feel like the Kai'Sa wave clear goes versus something like the Vex?
So I think when you say like Vex gets shoved in, yeah, definitely. I think the first couple of levels obviously still very matchup dependent. She needs a couple of Qs in the a couple of points in queue until she can really contest wave priority properly. But the issue is more or less just going to be sort of auto trading as Den
is going to get him underneath the tower for the moment. They get a whole bunch of damage off into Den. Den's going to go down. Nomi finds first blood, but Chris isn't done. Hunting for the Nautilus. It's looking like they may just have to call it here unless that hook hits, but it's narrowly dodged out by Chris. Maybe he's feeling himself a little bit more. Meanwhile, there is a bonanza going on in the top lane. Rip trying to bait Teddy into a fight, but Born This Way was there to make sure that dive did not happen.
Yeah, so Rip had that wave stacked up, and I think they would have gone for that dive. But like I say, Born This Way was there. They caught it out on the Sono Vision. I can't remember what the actual name of the burrow Rek'Sai ability is called. That passive.
Oh, the Seismic Sense.
Yes, Seismic Sense. Thank you. I don't know how you remember that off the top of your head. I mean, I guess just years
Seismic activity, yes. There was also a couple of years where we saw lots of Rek'Sai, and goddamn, I'm excited to see it now, but back then, it was every time.
And that was before we had the more aggressive almost, just the farm alarm.
Oh, God, the farm alarm. Oh, that was painful. You know, it's the same as Xin Zhao, though. I was really excited when Xin Zhao came back.
Yeah.
And now I can't stand the sight of him anymore. We just like stuck in the Xin Zhao meta, but Rip actually might be on the receiving end of the Xin Zhao, gets the movement speed from the proc and flashes away to safety. Rip's going to be A-OK.
Willing to low his flash here because the wave's stacking up, doesn't want to drop too low. Could have definitely held onto the flash, right? If you want to play a little bit greedy, you've got pots and try and parry the knockup from the free talent strike, but it's just not worth it. You just come back to lane. Don't want to have to be forced off a wave. Potential 1v2 definitely, I think, makes the right call. And Executioner's Calling comes in for Arcane Teddy as the first item, just to try and get a little more immediate trading power. Sidon, gonna be caught out on that ward to give him brief little bit of vision. Still level 3. Needs to try and get up there. He actually picked up the top skull. Now we'll ding over to level 4. Shouldn't be finding himself in too many issues in terms of that, but definitely Born This Way. A lot of presence in the early game so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top lane. Going to be shadowing this wave on the bottom side as it crashes in.
I don't know Sidon's here, actually. It's on that pink ward, so this could quickly get turned against them if they try anything a little bit interesting.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Den is just dead. That was a little bit too easy to find that Nautilus Heck.
Yeah, indeed it was. Nomi sets him up with the... I always get it wrong. It's the Deadly Flourish.
Deadly Flourish is the W.
Even though Captive Audience makes way more sense for that ability.
Yeah, I always forget that's the traps.
Yeah.
When Deadly Flourish should be... Maybe that was just like a typo when they were releasing him.
Do you know? Like, it could have been. It really could have been something like that. As this is the annoyance of playing the Tryndamere side of the matchup. The parry can come out, and if you get hit by it, you just can't really auto attack that well. As wave getting shoved in, level 6 going to be hit for it
Yeah.
course, Rate did set themselves up with that bottom side pick and the wave to get that dragon. That mountain does come in as Arcane Teddy spins on the spot, and Ripped eats a tower shot and doesn't even get that vital proc either,
That is painful.
which definitely feels a little bit bad in the micro. And again, it's just targeting going against him as the exhaust has to come out, and I don't blame him. Level 6
He's going in for the dive, though. The ult is on. Arcane Teddy's hit it as well.
The healing.
He's the healing, but he hasn't got enough. Arcane Teddy able to pop the ultimate and survive. That was a nice little play there by Arcane Teddy. Just playing that so clean and crisp, waiting for that 6 to come in time to save his life.
And I think Ripped out of mana. I'm not sure if you could have actually cast the riposte. And not only that, I have to say it's just Executioner diff in the 1v. I mean, Reed, hover over Executioners, because I'm sure that's like 500 reduced healing just in that little trade there. If I had to wager a guess. Okay, 88.
Wow. 88. Woo. So I want to go back to a conversation that has nothing to do with League of Legends, but does a little bit.
All right.
You know, when in Rome, we're finally together in person, so we can chat S-word together. I talked how, you know, seeing a Xin Zhao was exciting, and now it's not. Same for the things like the Rek'Sai back in the day. What champion shows up in competitive? And it doesn't matter if they've been off meta for a while. Do you just go, oh, God, this champion back again? Oh, I'm so bored of watching this champion.
It's been gone for a very long time, but during basically up until around Season 8, Season 9, anytime Elise was in and out now.
I can understand that. It's always the jungler, isn't it? I can't think of a lane pick that I don't get excited by if it disappears for a while.
Azir. Azir.
But Azir can be flashy.
Nah.
Azir can be flashy. I agree, because it can be a bit of a farm fest.
I think at the moment we're okay because we have this Dragon meta where there's constant team fights. So Azir is actually fine.
Yeah.
I think when we was in the older metas where dragons were a little less important and there was no such thing as Elder Dragon.
Yeah, but this is my point. Yeah. If an Azir shows up now, it's not as boring as it used to be.
No, now it's
but
like,
if,
oh, cool.
For me, if a Trundle or an Olaf shows up, I just roll my eyes.
Really?
I can't stand watching those two. I find them very uninteresting to watch.
I think Olaf can be funny if it's got a comp build.
I think the problem with those champions, for me, is they kind of signal a meta that I don't find as fun.
Which is?
Trundle kind of shows up around like the tank junglers.
Sure.
And Olaf normally shows up as a response to Trundle. So they show up in like a meta where I'm a bit like, ugh.
It's funny you say that because Trundle absolutely loves the Olaf matchup.
Yes, he does actually. It's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah,
yes.
It's the other way. When Olaf shows up, for whatever the reason is,
he's farming jungle meta.
Yeah.
And Trundle shows up in that meta.
Yeah.
And then Trundle also shows up in the tank meta. I think it's because he shows up in a couple of different metas.
Yeah, exactly. So it just ends up, I can understand those two.
There's nothing flashy about Trundle or Olaf. Olaf presses R and walks through team. Trundle presses pillar and slows someone down and probably kills them.
Yeah, I mean, well, the funny thing with Olaf is just big healing. It just gets particularly bonkers at certain points. It just depends on the meta. But we did see Herald picked up by Rate, by the way. We will,
League of Legends.
We will talk about the game from time to time. But, I mean, you and I were definitely known for our podcasting from time to time.
Yeah.
So I think now that we're together in person, it's probably not going to get.
It's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
I apologize to all of. I don't apologize.
Wow.
You knew what when you saw our faces on this. You knew what you know what to expect.
Exactly. So
Teddy's actually doing pretty good here into Rip.
Yeah, I was going to say, since that 1v1's gone the way of the Tryndamere, this is kind of the point in the lane which, things probably stay Tryndamere favored for a little while. I think Fiora definitely can spike on, sort of core items, but the issue is, so does Arcane Teddy. So we'll see how Ripped handles it, how Arcane Teddy also pilots it, because I think this Executioner build or early buy just says to me, as Arcane Teddy, I understand this matchup to a T. I know if I can just stop the vital healing, your trades become a lot worse. And not only that, if ever you do proc the ultimate because I've procced my ult, well, the healing that you get from that isn't going to be enough to heal the damage that I can do to you. Great. Yeah, again, second time round. Got a lot of priority down on this bottom side. Looking potentially at a second Dragon. I mean, it's the annoyance.
You got the crit.
Yeah, you get the crit, you spin out, and not only that, you now got Ripped's ultimate. And whilst you do have to deal with the exhaust, if you can bait out the riposte, I think, you can really handle this. Well, just take your time with it. Arcane Teddy knows Ripped is just going to get walked down slowly but surely.
Exhaust. He has the ult, though. He has the ghost. He's going to burn the flash and the ghost there.
Okay.
I think a little bit too much burnt by Arcane Teddy, to be honest with you. But he got the kill, got a plate, and got out scot-free. But bot lane, once again, We're going to see a support dying, but this time it's not going to be Den. Den's doing some work as Chris finds the kill. He flashes forward. They find a knock up, and Nomi able to not find the kill. Just about comes out, but the curtain has been called. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shot, 4. It's just about enough, but Topi's coming in. Topi has ulti. He's going to throw it down. It's now on the menu, baby. That's a kill. Looking for the second one. Going to miss out, and Topi has a beef burger.
Oh, yes, he does. Nomi, actually, you know, I give him credit to a point. He had the angle down. He didn't quite have enough range to execute Den. Then it still goes down to the roam from Topi. Mid lane, it's not something you've really spoken about. Topi, Shaolin, they've been very, very quiet, almost equal CS. In fact, going to be equal CS once Topi gets to this wave.
No. He's gone for it. He's got the red buff, but the range is too short. That was so much burnt. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Riftail's going to get summoned, and so is a couple of members of Raid. Domino find themselves a cheeky knock up onto Topi, forces him out. Oh, Sidon.
So if Den is a beef burger, what do we call Rek'Sai? Because Rek'Sai is definitely
forbidden steak.
Forbidden steak. As Raid, they're looking to take down the second dragon. Sidon's dead, so you'd expect this one will go their way. Bar a Hex Flash, Headbutt Pulse still, maybe, but I don't really feel like Den is looking to go for this one, as it's just person overstepping bounds. Nomi will eventually retreat back, and yeah, ultimate from Rek'Sai able to execute the Nautilus here. Doesn't quite lose his life for it, be able to survive through that little bit of burst. Fortunately, Crescent Guard not enough to keep the Xin Zhao alive, and Nomi gonna get run down here as Curtain gets opened up. 1 shot eaten up by Chris, second one misses, third one also goes wide, but I mean, fourth.
Oh, that one.
You have to feel a little bad for Nomi, but Topi finds the angle. Does execute, as you say, the beef burger is what Topi ends up having for dinner. And that second dragon that goes over to Ray, and it's going to be a Hex Tech as well. Definitely the strongest dragon available, if you had to ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, obviously we had the...
It's actually really nice for speedy roller skate person. Zeri, there we go. Yeah.
True. Haste, a little bit of attack speed. Also the big static shift slows. It's going to make Zeri very obnoxious if we do get to a point where Domino somehow managed to secure.
Oh, Hex Flash.
Dragons.
X Flash, Chris eats it. Deadly Flourish in, they find the headbutt. Here comes Shaolin though. Chris is firing off, and Nomi gonna get jumped onto. Shaolin executes one, gets the second. Born this way, being run down, jumping into Den's face. Here comes Topi. He goes, nope, I'm out. I don't want that. Just a couple of kills, make it 3 over to the side of Domino. Zarka and Teddy having a fight with Ripped, but in this crit off, Teddy, he hits harder.
Yeah, that he does.
Anyway, Ripped gonna be able to catch this wave. See, not really much he's gonna be able to do there. Sorry, I'm gonna break the illusion there. That was very awkward. We had a system for muting because I have all the controls next to me and Jamada doesn't have any. So he needed a cough or something. Yeah. I muted him, and while he was mid-talk, and then went, yeah.
Yeah, because I realized you tossed to me, so I just picked a bad time to mute. I was just a poor messenger in there. But yeah, like you said, Arcane Teddy really is having the better of this matchup. And I mean, red side, you would expect him to get counterpick anyway, but the early Fury locking just isn't quite going the way that Ripped unfortunately would have liked for it to have gone. Sidon, I won't say not having too much success, but Born This Way definitely feels like has had a little more presence. Sort of felt a little harder, let's just say. And of course, Xin Zhao definitely going to scale a lot better into the later stages of this game. Despite having to deal with, you know, the Rangers area and also Kai'Sa probably being a little more poke orientated. You know, we do see Sidon or then go in. Born This Way is always going to be fine. Though, as we progress into the game, I'm going to start to worry a little bit more about the scaling of Arcane Teddy on this side lane. And whether or not Fiora can, you know, sort of truly outscale this Tryndamere. Because right now, Arcane Teddy is just having an absolute laugh up there.
Yeah, I mean, he's having an absolutely great time. Seeing a little bit of damage from Shaolin, obviously mostly blocked up by the personal space shield from Topi. And kind of going back to that slow that we're talking about on the this dragon, if Chris can get that, not only is, you know, just the fact that you get all that extra attack speed wonderful, but we saw earlier, two people flashed for Nomi, and they weren't able to even get anywhere near finding a kill onto the Jhin because of the short range. You get those extra slows in that one auto attack, that slow comes down, and suddenly that's a very easy target to kill because you can refresh that up fairly quickly as well. So it's going to be a pretty impactful one for them to be able to pick up, but they are a long ways away from that Hextech Soul, as the first two dragons were picked up by Rate.
That they were, and that's going to be a bit of a ticking time bomb for Domino if they don't deal with some of that pressure. But I just wonder, do they really have the tools, right? Start to sort of look at the items and the strength of what they can provide for a lot of these champions.
Oh, I think something's coming. He's got Flash, he's got Ghost.
Yeah, he's just going to continue to do this. And I mean, it's just so obnoxious. You can't trade back at all. And Rift has a little bit of life still, going to, you know, sustain a little bit with the Gore Drinker. But Arcane can just do this on repeat, heal up for 300. And there's just not really too much that you can do on the Fiorin now at this point because you've given over the lead.
Yeah. Very, very rough here for Rift. Shaolin almost got that, I believe Loon's Echo next, almost finished up as well. So a whole bunch of bursts to come in from that one.
Yeah. Got the Sword Boots as well. So double stacked up Magic Pen. Herald going to be dropped here, but this tower's quite low. They're just going to use it for priority, realistically. Arcane Teddy going to make his way down to try and secure this one.
Oh, they're going to go for a kill, though. Born this way gets the knock-up, and Shaolin slides in. Arcane Teddy, CC'd, ghosted, but the Undying Rage will keep him alive as he's looking for one to take down with him. Gets himself the pick onto Shaolin. And Ray actually might look for the re-engage here. They do get the fear off as Chris jumps in on to the Nautilus, gets locked down for the moment. They're not going to follow up for anything else, and this will just be dragging over to Domino, their first one of the game.
Yeah, I mean, sure, Domino, they forced the issue in the mid lane and it works out, and that's kind of the power of the Rek'Sai and the Kai'Sa diving in together, and especially onto the Crescent Guard target that is Xin Zhao. All of a sudden, that Crescent Guard doesn't really do anything because they're just diving in. Like we said, the range is short, so at the end of the day, no longer does that ultimate really provide too much if you're just getting all of this diving power going. And with that, they will secure that first Hexa Dragon, and it's going to put a bit of a stop of a potential early snowball for Rate towards Assault.
It's going to be a dragon picked up there for Chris as well. Obviously got that Triforce, so kind of mincing through towers at this point. As you go into a replay of that mid lane fight. All this way just gets flashed onto and popped.
Yeah, simple as that. I mean, I don't necessarily feel like Rate are overstaying their welcome by too much. I think it's just Domino gap closing a little bit quicker than they were maybe expecting. And Born this way, unfortunately, the ultimate, whilst yes, the knockback's there and you get the massive shield, doesn't matter because Shaolin just dives on your face and you're not really in a position to return any damage because you're being CC'd so heavily.
Yeah. Well, 20 minutes on the clock. Gold lead right now is sitting in Rate's favor, but it is marginal. It's very close as far as the gold goes between these two teams. And Rip's able to shove this wave in, although Teddy should be able to make pretty quick work of that. You can see where the gold lead is currently sitting. I mean, it's kind of just marginally spread out between everybody. The biggest lead is actually Born this way over Sidon. And, you know, while that's not amazing, it's really not the end of the world. You'd feel way worse if that 1,000 gold was on the Jhin or the Tryndamere. Sorry, there is 1,000 gold on Tryndamere. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I looked at everyone and somehow didn't look at ripped gold. I think my brain just went, you don't want to see this, mate.
Yeah, I didn't want to divert you from the point. You know, you seemed really content with the basic maps
being wrong.
Yeah. So I just like, no, it's all right. You know, Jake struggles with maps. Not let him have this one. I mean,
my eyes just failed me there.
Sure, I'll give you eyes at worst there. As you can see some of the poking power that can come out from the Kai'Sa already. Level 12. Approaching the level 13 point, and Born this way, Arcane Teddy, Topi, they're all on the way to try and bully Ripped here.
Ooh, just about dodging out as he actually forces out the riposte, and now Born this way finds the knock-up. Ripped could be in a little bit of trouble, but there's the knock-off from Den. They got the healing zone. Teddy pops the ultimate. He's able to keep himself alive for a little bit longer. He's trying to get a bit more damage out, but it's not going to be enough, and that's 2 kills already picked up. Nomi uses the Gale Force. Chris is burning low as he's taken down. Shut down. 2-man headbutt pulse comes in from Den. Nomi dodging and diving away as the flash comes out into the W. Shaolin dodges it, blocks it for the moment, but now Topi's closing in. He's going to force out the hook, going to find himself the kill, but the curtain has been called on to the members of Domino. And one by one, they fall as Rate take this win, take this fight, and Ripped might be looking for something, a saving pick, but he's not going to give it.
Yeah, no, he won't. And somehow Ripped is the only one that survives that on the Domino side. When you think about how that one started, it was Rate jumping onto the Fiora. They don't quite find the execute damage in the end, which is certainly a little bit surprising given how quickly the members of Rate were to respond. But also, Domino, again, it's that Kai'Sa combination with the Rek'Sai, being able to sort of, you know, jump in at quite a long range and respond to some of these plays. You'll see Ripped goes in after finding the riposte, just tries to burst Born this way down. See, the Rate members were there, but then they stopped guarding Domino's entrance into this one, and Ripped able to dash out and then gives all of the follow-up required to Shaolin and that Rek'Sai. Even though Sidon dropped down quite quickly, Chris just kind of oversteps bounds, to say the very least.
Oversteps into, you pick your word.
Yeah, you know, you got to be polite when you see plays like these from time to time. But definitely, it's been a bit of a trend from both sides here. Domino and Rate, they've been overstepping in some of these small skirmishes, and it means more kills probably being traded than potentially necessary, as we are already 60 seconds away from another dragon that spawned in. So I think it's definitely the correct time to try and pick up on some of these item pickups. As Born this way, Frozen Heart second item, honestly, quite like it here. Navori Quick Blades come in for Arcane Teddy after that Gale Force. Zhonya's already there for Topi, and Collector comes in for Nomi, which honestly, not too bad in a game like this. Not too much armor should be being picked up on the Domino side. And on the opposite end, Blade the Ring King here for Chris, as opposed to something like the Titanic Hydra or even Ravenous. Sometimes you see other things come in that second slot. So Blade the Ring King, see how much damage that makes this area deal, as Muramana almost there for Shaolin, and Sidon still working on that second item. So at the moment, Rate, if they're there, grouped as a 5, even though there's only a 1k difference between the two teams, they're the ones with the more complete items, so I expect they will just pretty much hard win out. And we'll see if Domino get the read on this right now in a much more yielding position, posturing towards Baron more than actually contesting this dragon.
Might be their contesters. Not going to be able to do it because that ward making Rate very much aware of that, but that's their third dragon, so they're on out onto Soul Point for this Hextech Soul. Domino now starting to get a little bit pressured, but the gold is still fairly close, but I think the gold isn't completely reflective.
Very telling of
it doesn't really show actually how far ahead Rate are, at least in pressure right now. And gold can get blown up fairly quickly because there's still a fair few towers for them to take. Taking this tier 2 in the mid lane, Arcane Teddy gonna absolutely make very short work of this tier 1 bot side, and just like that, the gold lead just explodes open. Baron has been started.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually no pings on this. I'm not sure Rate are too aware. Person's going to come over and maybe drop a ward. It's really hard to say. Pings are coming down, but now they'll get the information with 4k left.
I don't know if they get the gear in time. They caught sleeping. Deadly Flourish was almost there. Pearson's not actually going to be able to find himself a pick. They did get the fear actually off
Chris
on the T1.
Chris is in danger.
Chris is
dead.
He's not in danger anymore.
No, no, he's not.
He's safe.
Yeah.
He can't die in the grey screen.
No, that's a great point. As Rate build up a whole bunch of pressure, they get, you know, technically 3 towers in this sequence of play, but they do lose out on the Baron, and that's definitely going to slow down the amount of pressure they can now apply to Domino. As the Baron going to buff up some of the minions, going to make sieging a little bit difficult. I think at this point, probably just going to be looking for setup in that bottom side jungle. As I just don't think Chris was aware.
He just got chunked and killed.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was aware that Topi was in the mid lane. I guess. I think expecting that he was rotating up towards the Baron. That would be why you can see that decision come out from the Domino AD carry. Yeah, didn't have vision confirmation in my ears from the producer, so bit of a freebie to give over, but not the end of the world here, as now we're going into that Titanic Hydra as that third item, as indicated by the ruby crystals with the Tiamat. And Arcane Teddy has gone for the more reminder to try and cut down the healing of Ripped in the isolated 1v1.
Ripped is just straight up not having a great time in that sense.
No.
That Tryndamere, 3 items in, both of his items are negated by a single item. And he obviously got all that extra attack speed from the Navari as well, so Arcane Teddy, a real problem here. He's going to get headbutt and poled, but he's able to jump away. Sidon comes in, finds the knock up. He's got the Undying Rage, spins out once again, but he's going to get followed up. The blast cone from Teddy!
Ooh.
Sniped by the Prey Seeker!
But mid lane,
Yeah, mid lanes, yeah, they got Baron recalls though. They can get back quick.
yeah, they will get back quick. And what this does, because they pressure the mid lane there, actually cancelled recall by Sid on last second. So they should, by all rights, be able to get this tier 2 top lane tower. Give it over to Ripped. Recalls will come in. And they still lose out on this exchange. They lose Arcane Teddy. They're going to lose this tower up here. So gold song back towards Domino. And as kind of expected, this would be a close game. It's just been so awkward between some of the lane matchups. As Arcane Teddy knocked up, and the plasma stacks are there for Shaolin to jump in onto. And yeah, it's just a lot of burst damage. And Arcane Teddy, very cheeky, almost makes it over. But Burrow into Prey Seeker. Actually, Gale Force is technically into it. It's just hard to tell where the Prey Seeker is going to come from.
Yeah, that was a pot shot that did hit him. But Shaolin now almost level 16 on the Kai'Sa. Well, obviously maxed that W quite a while ago, but now got the Shadow Flame finished up. So 3 items on the Kai'Sa. The Mirror Mana fully stacked. And oh my word,
yeah,
that was one of the more tanky members.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it like this. Born This Way has a Negatron cloak. I think that's 40 or 50. I can't remember if they lowered the M or increased it. I think it's 50. Yeah, so it's 50. They upped it a little while ago. And of course, you do the mathematics on his build. He's got about 32-ish or more pen, Shaolin. And he's still dealing that much damage to these Inzal. So imagine what he'll do to the likes of Topi or Nomi, who have no magic resist in their inventory at all. Tell you what the answer is. It's losing half their HP.
I mean, because you get the shutter cooldown as well.
Yeah.
Because he's got the upgrade on it. Like, he could genuinely just 2-tap Nomi very quickly.
Yeah. If Shaolin finds a... W hit. There you go, half HP. I told you.
Oh my word! They're going to jump in. They do lock him down for the moment, and here comes Teddy. Goes, bops back for the moment, and he is going to have to pop his ultimate to keep himself alive for the moment. Everybody gets knocked up, and now they're jumping in. Nomi on a rampage, but the rest of the team are going to collapse in and make short work of them. The Void Seeker lands onto person, and in comes Chris. Finds one, looking for Topi next. Waiting for that W to come back up. Can he line up the shot? Can he find his man? Can he find his target? It looks like they're going to call it off for now. Although Shaolin might just be able to blow at Topi. Personal space shield will give a bit of space. But Shaolin is going to be back up any moment now. Needs to clear the wave. Or he wants to try and trade anyone else out.
Oh. Recall will be interrupted. But yeah, I mean, I said it and it happened about 2 seconds later. Shaolin can half HP Nomi or Topi with just a single Void Seeker. And it happens, and it basically just signals a bit of a go, bit of a green flag for the fight to ensue. And I have to say, really have to credit Den for some of these headbutt pulverizers and some of these skirmishes and these greater team fights we've seen over the last sort of 10, 15 minutes or so, because it's providing so much space for Shaolin, for Chris to do their work and blow up the CC targets. Fine follow-up as well. He's been doing a great job at enabling his team.
They really have. They really have. It's a very tight game, though. Gold is dead even. Domino very close to being able to pick up their next dragon, which would be the third dragon for them, and ties them up with rate in that sense. Obviously, kind of want to get that because I don't think Hextech's all that amazing for Shaolin without getting the full upgrade, getting the full Hextech soul.
No, I mean, actually, it's flat haste, so he doesn't mind it at the end.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
It's flat haste, flat attack speed, 6 and 6 on both. There you go.
Thank you. Yep. No, that's actually well good for him.
Yeah.
I forgot. I thought it was just attack speed.
No, yeah. It's haste as well.
It's because yesterday was all Infernal Drakes.
Yeah.
Just all day. I won't complain though. I do love me for Infernal.
No, Infernal. Definitely.
Oh, Shaolin.
No, he's looking for the angles.
Oh, he knew where Nomi was, but didn't go for it.
And I would like to see a little bit of magic resist picked up by Nomi or Topi, just to make sure the poke is a little less effective. Obviously, it's not going to cut it down by a tremendous amount, but you have to remember, obviously, the diminishing... I can't remember the correct term.
Diminishing returns?
It's sort of like diminishing returns that you have on resist, where when you have a certain amount, obviously...
Oh, they might pull that. They're going to pull it. They're going to fear him. They're going to lock him down. And just like that, easy work. Topi goes golden to get the rest of the team to come in. Can look just to jump in once again. Den will fall. And the reset once again onto Topi's ultimate. He may just look for another person as Ripped has been spotted out. Topi not going to pull that trigger though. And this could just be a Baron for Rate. Gonna have to be really, really well paid by the rest of Rate to be able to keep on to this, because Sorry, for Domino to keep onto this because they just don't have the teammates to keep this going.
Nope. They're just going to push out the mid lane, try and take as many towers as they can before that Baron drops. And Arcane Teddy's even going to come over, defend, maybe delay bases. As the teleport's being actually blown by Topi on the bottom side, and they're going to try and collapse on this one. They don't want these Domino members to escape.
I mean, if they find them here, this could just be it. Teddy gets one, Topi flashes out, and now Ripped is on his lonesome. Pops the ultimate to keep himself up and healed, but Arcane Teddy will make short work of him. And just like that, you've now lost your top laner, your jungler, as Domino respawned. Baron's been given over to Wraith. They can spend their golden. This could be a very painful shove for them now. Yeah, it really could. Arcane Teddy picks up the Infinity Edge. Death Cap comes in for Topi. There's some massive buys coming out from the Raid members across the board. Rapid fire cannon for Nomi too. Now the item discrepancy starting to really amount between these two teams. As the 3k gold lead wouldn't necessarily indicate it, but it really is a bit of a hole that Domino find themselves in. It's just a nice ultimate connects by Topi, followed up. Nomi as well, able to execute that Zeri. Hooked, dredge line by the Nautilus. Then stuck. Wondering what happened to his team. Oh, poor Dendem. It's not been the most amazing game for him on the Alistar. 1 and 5. Has got the 12 assists, so has got fairly decent kill participation, but even so, was a victim early in lane, and that's kind of what's led to have pretty fed Jhin.
Yeah, I think definitely score says, yeah, I've been a bit of a victim. But 100% kill participation, he has really been doing a good job in the team fights.
Yeah.
It's just outside of those moments. Unfortunately, been a bit of a sacrificial lamb, let's just say. As Baron Siege comes in, poke can definitely land to be a little bit obnoxious, but if it only lands onto the front line, this is not going to be too big of a deal. As I just heard killing spree in my ears.
Oh, he's dead though.
Yeah. All right. So top laners no longer exist, not that they did in the first place, and now we drop to a 4v4 with 35 seconds left before this Hex Tech Dragon spawns up.
Remember, this is Soul for the side of Ray as well, so definitely going to want to be picking this one up. And on Domino to really defend this, they have no teleport, so same for Ray at least, so it's just going to be both teams 4v4ing here. And that actually, I think, kind of favors Domino because Arcane Teddy's been such a nuisance in the fights. They can just look to go for the poke. Oh, what a headbutt! Coming in from Denden, making the miracle turnaround, but they get the fear, and Topi can just jump in, chase for more. Shaolin finds himself the kill. Look at the burst, look at the damage coming out, but it's not going to be enough. A triple kill for Nomi. They don't need Soul. They gained everything they needed from that.
Yeah, I think they did, but we'll see. Ripped is up. 1v3. Definitely be a difficult task, but sure, did Rip pick up the death stance? If he did, then maybe it's something that he might have to throw his body away for. Let's see if he can make this one happen. Ray, they want the end though. If they're not going for the dragon, they want to end the game here. Maybe Arcane Teddy can go and pick it up as backup at worst, but death time has 20 plus seconds on everybody else. Oh, Ripped has to do something. He's gonna have to do it now. He's going.
He's looking for Nomi, trying to get close enough. He gets one vital, flashes the next, getting onto that third. Yeah, can he find it? In they come. They find the kill, and the game has been saved. Now Born This Way might just be the next victim. Has to stop what he's buying time there because Arcane Teddy has gone for the dragon. This is Soul for the team, and Born This Way is actually doing a lot of work here. But in comes Chris to make sure that they will not be gaining more. Born This Way goes down. Dragon Soul confirmed and secured for rate, but at what cost?
Yeah, it was definitely a very greedy call. I think get the inhibitor. I mean, maybe just not expecting Rip to be able to 1v3 in a situation like that. The issue, you know, with Nautilus, a lot of his CC is just very easy to riposte. Stunned up, able to walk past the Nautilus, and Xin Zhao can't really deal too well at peeling against the Fiora either. And the Fiora just able to run down Nomi in that situation. Ripped goal line defense effectively, but Soul still goes over to Rate. That's going to be a very hard thing to deal with. You can already see some of the AoE slow and damage it can deal.
Oh, nice hook. Den. I think that might be one dead cow. Arcane Teddy, Gale forces forward. They find the knock. Here comes Topi. He's on his lonesome though. He might just get blown up. They're looking for Shaolin. Shaolin's able to survive. Throws out one last W. Can't finish up the kill. But Sidon will give his life to save Shaolin and secure the kill for the team. W after W. Wow, Arcane Teddy is chunked.
It's just so difficult to play into the Kai'Sa, man. It's so hard.
Got the death cap.
Yeah.
4-item Kai'Sa, gonna reset. Gonna get a little bit more gold, a little bit more items. Baron spawning up in 1 minute's time.
Stopwatch.
Stopwatch, I think, is an amazingly important pick here for Shaolin.
Yeah, so many times dove in by Topi. And if Shaolin can react technically, can throw out a lot of damage to the Vex before she even lands, if the trajectory is very telegraphed. But just hasn't been able to do it too many times. And actually, Person even has the Anatomous Chains on the Kai'Sa, knows who the target is, that they want to lock down. And it's why time and time again it feels like the target selection from Rate, specifically Topi, has been aiming for that Kai'Sa, whilst Chris on the Zeri is definitely a very big issue. If they can remove the poke component of Domino away, they can always dive forward. They can always just have Nomi open up with the curtain call, have the rest of the members pick and choose at who they want to try and take down. For Domino, it's a little more reactive, it feels like, more times than not, but they definitely can. If Den can find an angle, headbutt pulverize onto Topi, onto Nomi. Follow up from Sidon and Shaolin, it's definitely been there. But as we go into these later game portions of the team fights, diving in just becomes a little more riskier. You risk giving up your life for some of these dives. And for Shaolin in particular, it's so important that you stay at a distance to ensure that you can keep the poke coming for as long as possible.
It's also, unless you catch Domino sleeping, I think Baron is genuinely impossible into this Kai'Sa. She can just poke you out from so far away.
Yeah.
And even anyone guarding, they just lose so much health too quick, providing they eat these Void Seekers. So it's so hard to do Baron as long as the Kai'Sa's alive. That was Born This Way, eating that W, but I want to see it hit Nomi just to see what it does.
You kind of don't, but also for science, I don't mind if it does.
Shaolin's gonna... This should be an angle?
No.
No. Person just able to move out of the way.
Just like playing.
Here's what the cooldown is on the W. When, it's not,
when it doesn't hit, I think
yeah.
it's about 12 seconds. When it does hit, however, it's quite short. It's about 2.
8. 8.9. So
8
basically
when it misses, 9. And then 77% of the cooldown.
Wait, they're doing Baron.
Hit.
They're doing Shaolin?
They're worried about Arcane Tech.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's just Baron secured.
Yeah.
Teddy, we totally didn't notice Teddy.
Nope.
We were watching the poke, but yeah, Teddy literally just got them that Baron by not even being there.
Nope. Exactly. Was not present, but able to knock down the Nexus Tower. And Domino forced to pick or choose, you know? Base or Baron. I think I know which one I would prefer. The only issue is Baron now is going to eclipse the Elder Spawn, and with Baron, they can even technically still go for the base anyway.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a catch-22, unfortunately.
It's going to be a harder one for them here now, to be able to actually find their way back in. We'll see what they can do with this Baron, because this is the second Baron that Rate have been able to pick up in this game, and absolutely important that they can try and close the game out, because I do worry, you know, the later we go, the more kind of defensive items start to come in. That Zhonya's Hourglass for Shaolin's going to be big, partly because of the status effect, but also because of the cooldown reduction. Means you can W more often. GA's been finished up onto Ripped, along with the Death's Dance. So Ripped is pretty much full build, just needs one last item. And then Chris, curious to see what this final item is going to be. Probably just going to be their Guardian Angel. As Teddy tried to find Shaolin, and he's going to pay the ultimate price. Shaolin finds the kill onto him. That's Baron out of your side laner taken away. And this could just be the go button. Den flashes forwards. Can't find his opportunity to get in, though. And that was a flash down from the cow. Didn't actually gain too much off it, but a great slow there from Born This Way. The wind becomes lightning, which quite literally became lightning there. And slowed everybody of Domino down.
Yeah, Domino now, they really have to try and take control of the river. But looking maybe as if they want to try and grab the inhibitor and use that as a means to retreat back in towards that Elder Dragon, which spawns in 30 seconds or so. Baron's still going to be up for over a minute. They will make quick work of the inhibitor, however. Sidon.
Sidon, he should be able to jump away, but he lost a fair amount of health there. Nomi just ate a W, which I totally missed, and that's half his health gone.
I think he healed up a little bit from Fleet too, post the poke. So, yeah, I will say Sidon, I don't think has any tenacity there as well. So if he gets clipped by anything, gonna die. So he really is a bit of a glass cannon.
Oh, heal up, reset. Nomi back on the map. Full build. No stopwatch on Shaolin. That's the crucial one here.
Yeah.
Used it to survive earlier, and that got them an inhibitor. But with Elder up, didn't actually have time to find that reset. And Sidon, Shaolin, sorry, just needs to find some poke, and Rip's on his lonesome. They missed the W, and now Rip's gonna just find himself dead. As the Guardian Angel was born this way, now looking for Sidon. Shaolin trying to get a little bit more additional damage off.
Oh, Shaolin!
It's the Kaiser. Topi finds the pub. Chris is going to get knocked up as well. Rips on his lone, and Topi takes him down. Double kill, picked up by Topi, and it is a absolute whitewash for the side of Rate. They don't need Elder. They just need to find those 4 kills, and they should be able to close this game out.
Yeah, bottom Hibber, they've got only 1 tower to work through, and I think they have the health bars to tank up. Got a bit of a mid push potentially coming in from Sidon, but he's all on his lonesome. And whilst when it comes to Rate, we often talk about Arcane Teddy.
Sidon, you don't win this race, mate.
He's trying his best.
A heroic play as he flashes into the base, but the towers will go down. Sidon not being able to match. Down goes the Nexus. 41 minutes on the clock, so a fairly lengthy one, but Rate are able to take the game and take the victory here.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we often talk about Arcane Teddy a lot when it comes to the victories here for Rate, but honestly, again, it's Topi with another massive teamfight performance. Coming in time and time again, just found Shaolin every single time. I don't know how he done it. It was...
You know the worst thing? I reckon because Shaolin got the kill onto Arcane Teddy and the shutdown, if he'd gone back, I reckon he probably had enough gold because he'd been on that stopwatch for a while. Yeah. So I think if he'd had the Zhonyas, he could have either blocked the W entirely with Zhonyas or blocked him when he came in. He got one shot. So I think if I was him, just block the ult before it even hits you. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, those fine little things didn't happen. And yeah, amazing play on that Vex. Constantly finding Shaolin and denying him from being able to stack the poke up and be a real nuisance. Because if that Baron had gone, that Dragon Pit had gone for like 20 seconds more, that's like, as long as you're landing Ws, that's like 5 Ws. So that's a lot of poke. Yeah, that's a serious amount of poke.
There's not much you can really do about it. I mean, obviously you have a fair amount of engage, but the issue is Kaiser's range is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's a very long range ability. Anyway, we're going to throw to a quick break. When we're back, we're going to have the interviews with the players from that game. So we will see you in a moment. Don't go anywhere. See you in a sec.